Welcome back, frag heads, fragrance lovers, and fellow fragrance enthusiasts. It's Benjamin here at the Centaur Fragrance Show, showcasing another beautiful fragrance. Thank you so much for popping in today. Today, it's going to be Bvlgari Man Black Cologne. I almost said Man in Black. Don't get it confused. This is not from the Man in Black. Has a different DNA. This one is a flanker of the regular Bvlgari Man DNA. So a little bit refreshing. But what's going on in this fragrance? This is a deeper, perhaps more darker, composition of or blend of the original Bvlgari Man. You're getting notes like rum. It's very subdued, but there is some of the spice of the rum, and the rum comes off more of almost like a white rum or a crystal clear rum. It doesn't have a big personality of rum. I do have some sprayed on my arm here. It's my scent of the day, but why not? We'll spray another. So this fragrance is really nice. It has a unique green kind of citrus accord. Actually, it's the citrus here comes off a tiny bit more green than maybe some of even the other Bvlgari Man fragrances. That's especially the Bvlgari Man Extreme being one of my favorites. But it being a citrus aromatic, the citrus here comes off a little bit more green. Not terribly green, not a clubhouse green, not a fougere fragrance whatsoever. This is actually more on the seductive side of things. This is a fragrance that has rum, leather, iris, and tuberose. So it's floral, it's dark, and it's boozy. That's mostly what you're getting, but it's interesting that in the top, there is this intriguing little green citrus, almost adding a almost lemongrass type of transition, kind of being playful in the opening. So it kind of goes away rather quickly, but it does add to this interesting freshness that's on the top of this fragrance, and it is very refreshing. And it's a very light fragrance, but as it transitions, it becomes a little bit darker. You get some benzoin, you almost get a little bit of tonka vibes, and definitely that leather starts to come through a little bit more. Never becomes a dark fragrance, never becomes a heavy fragrance, but certainly does have a little bit of that dark side going on. If you like things like Polo Black, I think that you will like this fragrance. And also, if you like things like Tom Ford's Black Orchid, that must be a very popular fragrance. I don't know who wears it. I haven't met too many people who do, but it must be a big fragrance because, they recently released the new Parfum edition. So I think that this would be a great alternative to, maybe you want something more modern and trendy if you do like Polo Black, or maybe you want something 24/7 you could wear all year long if you do like the Tom Ford Black Orchid. This one would be very easy to wear anytime, anywhere. So high versatility, and it's unique. We'll talk about the price here in a second, but we got to talk about the performance first. But before I do, I just do want to mention that this is one of those great fragrances, guys, that can give you a almost niche-like experience. This is more interesting. I wouldn't say it's daring to my nose, but to some people this might be daring. It's a little bit more unusual and might be something different from what you would expect from a normal designer release. This is a Bvlgari. Bvlgaris usually put out pretty good quality blends, pretty good quality stuff. This is no exception. Pretty well blended, and it's intriguing, and it's not terribly expensive, so you can smell great on a budget. We'll talk about that in a second. But first off, the longevity. It's not a bad performing fragrance, but I get 6 hours, really. Maybe 7 hours if I'm lucky, if I spray it a lot on, if I gussy it up, and I put on a lot of sprays, I can but putting on a lot more sprays, y'all know, really just gives you more projection. You can get a little bit more performance, but not a lot out of it. Spraying a lot more, again, just makes people smell you better, gets that fragrance to their nose. But I do have to say, it's not a bad performer. I get more on the average projection side and the average Ciaz, about 6 hours, but it is a little bit more of an interesting smell. And just like I always say, if it's a more interesting smell, people are a little bit more keen, or they're a little bit more susceptible or sensitive to a more unique smell. So it actually, gets a little noticed a little bit more than you would expect, but it's not a shouter. People are going to smell it within your, a foot or two of you, probably arm's length in. When people get in your personal bubble, people will be able to smell this fragrance on you. It does have a little bit of sillage, and it can work sometimes, not all the time, but decent performing fragrance. Not bad, but not great. But what is also interesting with this fragrance is the compliment factor. This isn't my style of fragrance. I'm, even though I really do respect this fragrance, and sometimes I do like a good tuberose, this one is well composed. It's just not doesn't speak to my soul. And you'd be surprised because I like rum, I like booze, I do tend to like tuberose, and it's got leather, it's got some spices, it's got benzoin, which I'm actually recently really starting to fall in love with benzoin or benzoine, and which is more of an incense, but with really beautiful vanillic overtones. It's got some of that in the dry down here as well, but overall it's more of a unisex fragrance, very metro in my opinion. More perhaps if I would describe the man, or younger man wearing this fragrance, perhaps a guy wearing black skinny jeans. That's this kind of fragrance. It come again, no disrespect, but it comes off as more maybe a guy who listens to punk rock, that kind of guy. More power to you. I'm definitely more of a heavy metal type of guy, and this fragrance is decent, but it's not. I want a little bit more boldness. I want a little bit more richness. I want a little bit more oomph to it. I think the iris, there is some iris, but it's more of a supporting note to the tuberose. Really softens up this fragrance in a fragrance that was already not having enough strength or enough of an edge to it. I would like a lot more leather. I would like a lot more spice. Y'all know me. But what can I say? This one is highly versatile, and I think that some people are really going to like this one. Compliment factor wise, again, didn't get a lot of compliments, but people did find it interesting on me. They did find it kind of intriguing. It can be a little bit of a conversation starter. This is not a fragrance and a smell that most people have ever smelled before, and the average person has never come across. It's a little bit of a unique fragrance DNA. Again, it's fresh and refreshing, but yet light and yet boozy and yet a little bit dark and a little bit floral, and a little bit seductive with the tuberose and the iris kind of thing going on. It's kind of an interesting juxtaposition of things, and can be interesting. So it might just do magic for you in your world. So definitely give it a try. But again, and my final thoughts, and with the price, so one of my big final thoughts with this fragrance, I really do want to put out there, is although this says man, it says man right there on the bottle. Ladies, if you're a confident lady, and y'all know that we are trying to get away from gender and fragrances. I just make suggestions and my personal thoughts. I as a really masculine leaning kind of guy with most of my fragrances, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this one. So that speaks to me, and from what I've been able to gather from other people, this is more of a unisex fragrance. It maybe is 55% masculine, at 45% feminine, something like that. Maybe a tiny bit, but a confident lady can really pull off this fragrance. A confident lady, if you like your bold fragrances, big personalities, you're a lady maybe who likes her violets, maybe who likes her dry powdery fragrances, and wants something that's maybe an everyday type of fragrance. Could be the boss lady's fragrance for just everyday situations, casual wear, going out, going to the grocery store. This comes off as a fragrance that is very modern and trendy, and again a little bit punk rockish. So maybe if you're a person who appreciates the tattoo side of things, this might be your kind of fragrance. Interesting though, and if you like Paco Rabanne's the Excess line, Pure Excess or Black Excess, this also might be something you might enjoy because of that black, a little bit of that black, almost tangy, earthy kind of DNA, a little bit of that in the background. So anyways, fantastic fragrance. Again, not a lot smells like this. Polo Black is about the only thing that's somewhat similar to this fragrance. And there is a fragrance that by Enrico, not Enrico GI, but I can't, Ricardo's collection. He has a fragrance called Black Musk, or Black, I believe it is. And not a bad fragrance either, but this one's a great value. $35, guys. That's usually you can find this fragrance. It probably is already discontinued. So scoop it up while it's a good price. If this does sound good to you, $35 for 100 ml for a Bvlgari fragrance. It's actually quite affordable and kind of on the low end, on the more affordable side of things for a Bvlgari especially. So good quality. Average performance overall, interesting smell, might work for you, and I hope that you enjoyed my review today. I'll see you next time, everybody. Wear what you love, rock what you got, and I hope that I showcased and brought an interesting fragrance to you. And I do think that I remember seeing Jeremy Fragrance liking this fragrance at one point, so the quality on Bvlgari fragrances, pretty good stuff. I'll see you next time, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Wear what you love, rock what you got. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your favorite versatile dark fragrance, or a versatile, unique, a little bit of a bold fragrance. So I'll see you next time, everybody. I'll see you. Have a beautiful one. Wear what you love. Rock what you got. Peace out and bye.